10 crazy things we learned from the 2023 French Open. Hey guys, welcome back to World Top Tennis, the channel that brings you the latest news and insight from the world of tennis. In today's video, we'll be discussing the 10 crazy things we learned from the 2023 French Open, also known as Roland Garros, is a Grand Slam tennis championship played annually in late May and early June. So let's dive right in. Today we're taking you on a journey to the Roland Garros Stadium in Paris, where the prestigious French Open recently unfolded. Get ready to be amazed as we reveal 10 absolutely mind-boggling things we learned from this year's tournament. From unexpected upsets to incredible comebacks, the French Open had it all. So grab your popcorn, sit back, and prepare to have your tennis-loving minds blown. Let's jump right into it. Here are 10 crazy things we learned from the 2023 French Open. Number 10. Two of Novak Djokovic's biggest fans are greatest of all times in their own respective sport. That is Mike Tyson, the former heavyweight boxer who I think is the greatest boxer of all time, is a huge Novak Djokovic fan, and his daughter actually plays tennis and is a striving professional tennis player herself. And Tom Bradley, the NFL quarterback, the greatest NFL player of all time. Did you see him in Djokovic's box during the finals of that match? And he even got a shout out and a thanks from Djokovic during the championship ceremony. Number 9. Tennis has got to fix the draws. This is 2 years in a row where the top two contenders have been on the same side of the draw. And this all happened because Daniil Medvedev won the Italian Open, Rome, which pushed him to number 2 in the world and slid Djokovic down to number 3. Last year, we had Nadal and Novak Djokovic facing each other in the quarterfinals. And then this year, we had Carlos Alcaraz and Djokovic in the semifinals. And it's really a disservice to tennis because Grand Slams normally follow the ATP rankings on seeding, but they are not required to. They are permitted to change that seeding slightly to make it more fair. Number 8. It doesn't appear that Dominic Thiem will ever be able to return to his top form, which is really sad because there was about a 3-year stretch where he was the second best clay court player in the world. And he's someone who's been to 4 major finals, including winning the 2020 US Open. And he's actually been to 3 different major finals: the Australian Open, the French Open, and the US Open. I'm still hopeful he can find that form and return to the top 10, but it's been 3 years since that devastating wrist injury. And it was really cool to see Lucas Pouille back in the draw, an extremely talented player who's been down with injuries for several years. Let's hope that Dominic Thiem will come back to the top 10. Number 7. American tennis is still down. Tennis, at least in America, has been marketing many young guys as the next great, and they have been awful lately, especially at this year's French Open and especially on the men's side. Not a single American made the quarterfinals of this year's French Open. In fact, only one American has won the French Open in the last 30 years. Can you guess it? That's Andre Agassi in 1999. I expect that it will change at this year's Wimbledon, especially when the big surge becomes more of an advantage. Number 6. First off, congratulations to Iga Swiatek on winning her 3rd French Open and her 4th Grand Slam title. She's legit. However, the women's tennis really misses one player right now, and that's Ash Barty. It doesn't feel like there's any rivalry in the women's game right now. Barty retired just before Iga really became the dominant player in the game. Man, that would be a fun rivalry because Barty had won 2 times against Iga, not even dropping a set yet. But that was just before Iga really became the dominant player in the game. I think Ash Barty, who's just 27 years old, needs to come out of retirement right now and start this rivalry. Man, we want to see her again back in form so we can enjoy some great matches of women's tennis tournaments. Number 5. I think that there are 5 players that we may have seen the last of at this year's French Open. That's Stan Wawrinka. He's 38 years old and will be 39 next year. He made it to the second round and had 2 5-setters. But Andy Murray, 36 years old, skipped this year's French Open to focus on Wimbledon. And if you skip this year, it makes next year even more unlikely. And then John Isner, the tall, big-serving American, is 38 years old this year. And then, of course, Richard Gasquet, 36 years old, lost the first round this year. And then 36-year-old Gael Monfils won his first round in 5 sets and then withdrew from injury. Before we move forward, don't forget to hit that subscribe button on World Top Tennis and turn on the notification bell so you won't miss any of our upcoming tennis-related content. Number 4. If you felt like something was missing in this tournament, it's because there were a lot of players out. Obviously, the biggest one, Rafael Nadal, just a huge hole in the draw, as well as Marin Cilic, Matteo Berrettini, Riley Opelka, Sam Korda, Andy Murray, and Nick Kyrgios. Kyrgios actually had a knee injury. He's been playing on grass for a couple of weeks already. He got the head start, so I would watch out for him at Wimbledon. Number 3, if you feel like tennis is down a little bit right now, the level, it's not an illusion. It really is. And there are a couple of reasons why it is a little bit down. The first one is retirement. Tennis has lost a lot of really good players in the last few years. Roger Federer, Juan Martín del Potro, who's actually rumored to be returning for the US Open in 2023, Serena Williams, and Ash Barty on the women's side. And even a lot of guys that were around a long time, like Berdick and Ferrer and Hewitt, retired, and guys like Verdasco and Nicolas Mahut have aged out. There are a lot of guys marketed as the next great from the next gen and the new gen that haven't been able to capitalize yet, which brings me to my next point. Number 2. The next generation and the new generation are still not ready to take the torch from the Big 3, which really shows how spoiled we were the last 20 years with the Big 3, Roger Federer, Djokovic, and Rafael Nadal. And it really shows just how great they were and still are, because Djokovic is still dominating the game, which is really incredible to see. Rafael won 2 majors last year, but it's proving that the new generation and the next generation were over-marketed or have just dealt with terrible injuries. I still think it's way too early to call these guys busts. They're still really young, but I am really surprised that they haven't been able to beat an older Djokovic and an older Nadal at 36 and 37 years old. Number 1. Djokovic is now the greatest of all time. And if you had any doubts before whether Djokovic was the greatest player of all time, he had already had the most ATP 1000s, the most weeks at number 1, and now he has the most Grand Slams with 23, passing Nadal at 22, and be the first fan to have 3 titles at all 4 majors. And there you have it, folks, 10 absolutely crazy things we learned from this year's French Open. What an incredible tournament it was! Which of these surprises amazed you the most? Let us know in the comments below. Thank you for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, be sure to check out our next video and subscribe to this channel, where we'll bring you more fascinating insights into the world of tennis. Until then, keep swinging, and we'll see you next time on World Top Tennis.